How are you, Alice?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Excited to talk to you today. So thank you so much.
Ooh, where are you? In Arizona, where?
I'm in Las Vegas in Nevada.
Okay.
Yeah. It's hot. I think it's supposed to be 108 today
And dry.
and very dry.
Wow.
Yeah.
You like the weather?
Um, I I do. Our shoulder seasons are really nice, and the winter is really nice. It's just way too hot for the 3 or 4 months out of the year. Everything else though is really great. I do a lot of outdoor activities, so the rest of the year is just really good weather-wise for that.
Beautiful. So,
Yeah.
are you originally from Las Vegas?
I'm actually from Idaho. I grew up in Southeast Idaho, and I recently moved to Vegas. I guess it's not so recent anymore, but it's been about 2.5 years now that I've been living here.
Beautiful. So tell us about your project.
Yeah. So I started what I thought was going to be a hobby earlier this spring. So it's very new to me. But I've been fortunate that I've been pretty successful so far, which has just been fabulous. But I love jewelry. I love earrings, big earrings. I'm always wearing them. And this spring, I just wanted to start doing something with my hands. I grew up. My father was a blacksmith,
Mhm.
and so I can see that you're talking, but I can't actually hear you. What was that?
What is a blacksmith? Excuse my ignorance, please.
Oh, no worries, no worries. A blacksmith is a metal worker, but he did like I like to call it functional artwork. So he would make lamps that looked like plants or stair railings that looked like aspen trees. He just did really, really beautiful work. And so I grew up around that and working with tools and him. And so working with metal and getting my hands dirty is something that I enjoy. So in the fall, just to lead up to this a little bit, I lost my job. The company that I was working for sold, and through that process, they got rid of a lot of the employees that were there, and I was one of them. And so, I did some projects around the house and worked on our landscaping and that sort of stuff, but I ran out of things to do. And then, so again, it takes me to my hobby. I was like, I'm going to start making earrings because I love earrings. And I did. And it's this weekend I had a crazy amount of things to do. It was wild. I can't believe how much support I've received for doing the things I've been doing. So I make jewelry, I make hair accessories. I do a lot of bracelets and barrettes lately, and earrings too.
You mentioned to me that you are repurposing materials. Is that right?
I do some of that. It's not all of what I do, but it is some of what I do. So my partner is an electrician,
Mhm.
and or was he was an electrician, but so he does a lot of the electrical work around our house, and he does some other stuff too. So he needs a lot of materials like the copper that I use.
Okay.
And so I use his leftovers. So he uses some heavy gauge ground wire that I'll use. He's pulled out of the ground some things that, he didn't need anymore and helped me take the sheathing off that I could use in some of my designs. And so I just started really small with that. But something so that's really important to me. And I hope to do more of that in the future. But I also, in all of my packaging, is recycled material, and most of it is also compostable. So it's all 100% recycled, and then some of it is also compostable. Like the tape that I use, for example, is compostable too.
What inspired you to use recycled materials, repurpose, or to do more? of a sustainable practice other than just doing jewelry with the craft that you already knew?
It's really important to us in the household to recycle and reuse as much as we can. And it's been something that I have a pretty deep connection with the outdoors. Before moving to Las Vegas, I ran an outdoor program at a university for 6 years, along with colleagues of mine. And I have been a guide for the last 10 years or so in the outdoors. I'm a rock climbing guide currently. I also go and teach some backpacking classes at universities too, which is really fun. I still get to do that every year. And then I do whitewater sports as well. And so, you know, I'm just familiar with some of the issues that are in the world around us that kind of surround sustainability. And, you know, while the things that I do aren't 100% sustainable at this point, I hope, you know, I can gradually move into that in the future. But, you know, just doing the things that I could right now was really what was important to me. And I tried to think of the things, you know, that I'd be sending to everyone, that people would be maybe throwing away, you know. So that for me was the packaging. That's like the first, you know, that's the first easiest place to go, and the thing that every single person gets. So that was important to have that be reused, recycled.
Beautiful. So you also mentioned that you're actually doing really well with your sales. You started very few months ago, like 3 months ago. Is that right?
Yeah, I started actually doing little things in February. And it was in March, April that things started to really take off for me. Now I have about 10 sales a day, which I need to, you know, figure out, because at some days, you know, that means I'm working till 10 at night. So I need to, you know, find some sustainability with it in my own life. But yeah, I honestly can't believe it. Again, it just started with a few things and with some friends supporting me, and, you know, a couple people here and there. But now, you know, I'm not actually, I have Instagram and Facebook, but I'm really not pushing it right now. And I still am like trying to pump the brakes a little.
Amazing. You have an Etsy store, right?
I do. I have an Etsy store, and I started it again as a hobby, but I think at this point, you know, I see that there's some definite potential for me, you know, at least in the short term. You know, I'm thinking that I should probably give it a go for at least a year or so. At this point, I think it would be really awesome to try.
So I was asking if this project that is working out right now, do you plan on continuing, or this is just temporary? Because you said you're finding success where you didn't think of you would find some success. So are you planning on, you know, like continuing the business? Is that what you mean?
Yes. Yes. I think at this point, I really love, again, making and creating things. And, you know, this is giving me an opportunity that I didn't think that I had. And I have just an overwhelming amount of support for it. And yeah, I'm going to make it a real thing.
Amazing.
Going for it. Yeah, yep. I plan on giving it a real go.
So how do you base your designs on? Is just creativity that comes to your mind, or do you have patterns, or people ask you for things, or how does it work?
At this point, sometimes people ask me for things, which is really fun and awesome to be able to, you know, and it's also hard because they have, you know, something that they're hoping that they get in their head. And so you know, have to try and figure out what that is. But so I do a little bit of that, but mostly, honestly, again, I think I've been fortunate to be raised in a creative household, and so I just have an idea some days and sit down and do it, and you know, I put it on the Etsy store the next day, and that's how most of the things that I've made have happened. It just, you know, it's the one thing that I make and I post it, and it's great. I hope in the future that I could spend a little more time, you know, being really thinking about and getting into design, in terms of, rather than jumping straight to making it, you know, maybe plan it out a little bit better. But at this point, I just put it together. And I've actually created a few patterns for things that I make right now too, so that, you know, that when I make it the second, third, 10th, 20th time, it's very, very similar.
Well, I think the start is the most difficult part, no? Without so much, sometimes it takes forever to start. So if the start has been successful, what an amazing thing, no?
I definitely feel that. It's also in that, also with that though, I feel a little scared. I'm trying not to hope too much, you know? So there's definitely some fear that comes with it as well, but you know, I'd rather have that kind of problem than have the other kind. Yeah, and so I'm just absolutely overwhelmed that, you know, folks have been enjoying this that I make. It's a wonderful thing to be able to give them something that they love and enjoy. You know? I get some things that, that's okay. I get every once in a while, actually pretty often these days, I get orders that, you know, people have a gift message for, and it says happy anniversary, or I get a lot of anniversaries actually. And that to me is like, you know, it's a celebration of companionship and of love, and they're choosing the things that I make to be able to celebrate that. And that is just really, really cool.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Last night I purchased, you know, hundreds of jewelry boxes and tags, and you know, that to me is still very, very scary because I'm like, what if no one buys anything tomorrow? You know, what if it's not working 2 weeks from now? Because it's been just such a short amount of time. It's been really hard to scale appropriately.
Of course. So this means for you to go from a regular job, a regular salary to entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah, yeah, yep. And that is also very scary. Yeah, 'cause I've always had, you know, institutional sort of jobs at universities or, you know, other companies, and so yeah, and I think the kind of beauty in that though is I've honestly felt, since I moved to Las Vegas, I've honestly felt a little let down. I had a really wonderful job in Idaho, and I moved to Las Vegas to be with my partner, which is wonderful, and I don't regret it at all. However, working here has been really difficult. I worked for the city for about a year, running adaptive adventure programs, which is really awesome. But my colleagues were really difficult to work with, and I left because you know, they would talk about each other in meetings, and you know, were very catty and very rude, and that I just didn't want to be in that environment. And then I lost the other job that I mentioned, and then I actually got a job, and then COVID came. So, you know, 3 jobs in 2 years has been, it's been an emotional roller coaster. And, you know, with this, even though, you know, I'm going from something that is certain or more certain, the thing that kind of keeps me coming back around, you know, from being too afraid of that is, you know, I want to try it, and I would be disappointed if I didn't. And if anyone lets me down now, it's going to be me. It's not going to be anybody else. And that I think is really scary. but also really kind of sort of reassuring in a way. You know, I've got control. I've got my hands on this one. So it's a really it's a scary but very good feeling.
But I think being scared is good. It's also a type of fuel, no, that keeps you going, and you know, it's an unknown territory without a doubt. But you know, if it's working out, then a little bit step forward. You know, I feel that scare, that fear a lot. But
Yeah.
you know, as you said, if my challenge is me, my challenge is my mind, really, really. You know, my mind
Yes.
to
Yes.
not beat me up, and I need to learn to talk to myself in a nicer way, you know, and keep going because
Yeah.
it gets frightening at some point.
Yeah. Yes, yes. And yes, I feel a bit of that. But again, it's a good thing because at the end of the day, I'm the one that's responsible for it. So again, you know, if anyone lets me down, it's me. It's good. It's a very good thing.
Yeah,
And I'm so excited.
oh, that's amazing to hear. You know, even though you're starting out, I feel inspired because I think that sometimes we don't believe enough in ourselves. So, you know, it's amazing. And I'm sure women will,
Yes, thank you.
yeah, women will hear you taking that step, that scary step from corporate or from, you know, a certain schedule and a certain security into the unknown, but it can be done. So that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And yeah, I'm very excited and I couldn't be happier with how, you know, things are going for me so far.
Very nice.
And again, you know, I would be disappointed if I didn't put my all into it. So
Very nicely. So keep me posted on how the story is going, and I'll share your
okay,
information, your Etsy link, so people can find what you're doing.
awesome.
And it was a pleasure.
Very cool. Yeah, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. And it's nice to virtually meet you.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, you know what?
Yeah.
It's an opportunity that opened for all of us to get to know people through the distance, no? We were not doing the
Yes.
distance meetings before.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? It's definitely changed the dynamics of communication, which is really kind of a cool thing, I think,
Oh,
in a lot of ways. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great. Well,
Very
yeah.
nice to meet you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
And keep me
Perfect.
posted, okay?
Okay. Okay, will do. Thanks so much. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Bye.
You too. Bye bye.